I've been in the Channel West for quite a long time, over 30 years. I actually got into it after my father. He was one of the people that started the channel at IBM many years ago. And I've spent time in distribution, and I've worked for IBM and Lotus and Sony, but I've also worked in the telecom world for some of the ILECs, and then recently for the last 10 years with Comcast Business. So I run our indirect channel team nationwide. A lot of people don't know that I'm from the Midwest. Actually, I'm from Toledo, Ohio originally. So I spent a lot of time off Lake Erie where you are. And maybe a little famous fact, I got to play 18 holes with Dustin Johnson a few years ago. So I got to see what the long ballers can do.
Take us through, first of all, what an SD-WAN is and how that differs from, some of the other networking technologies or paradigms that people might be used to.
Sure. Well, it is different than a hub and spoke. And so it allows you to leverage IPsec VPN technology. And particularly, it allows you to use lower cost bandwidth options that don't have SLAs associated with them, because you can manage that independently. And it allows you to scale and provides a lot of versatility so that you can manage workloads in the cloud with things like Azure and things like AWS, where a lot of customers obviously have applications now. So the experience for the user is tremendously better if you put them on an SD-WAN model versus a traditional model, because you can get down to managing it at the application layer, and you can do it at a more cost-effective level, and eliminate kind of the tyranny of the boxes, the traditional hardware world, where it can all be managed virtually via software. So those are really kind of the key elements.
And let's talk a little bit more about customer benefits beyond cost. So I've heard things like that they'll experience, lower latency. So is that true? And are there some other things that they might experience, some other benefits?
Well, it is true, because the fact that you can manage that at the application layer allows you to control the latency issues. So you can get the best connectivity and then manage applications that you perhaps don't want to be used. So things like, for example, Pandora, YouTube, if you wanted to put rules in place where you said, hey, those applications can't be run or they're deprioritized, but the voice call is, then the customer experience on the voice call without the jitter and latency would be there, and you could shut down the bandwidth hog applications that might be a challenge. And so that can be all done, with the network management tools that are in our platform. You can have the best network connectivity on the planet, but if you don't manage the applications properly, then the experience may not be good. And that obviously, in a world where everything's virtual, could affect the UCaaS offering that the partner sells. It could affect the applications that you're trying to get in Azure, wherever. And so it's really a critical element.
Speak to verticals a little bit. Are there, certain verticals that you've seen out there that people should be going after that might benefit more from an SD-WAN versus other verticals?
Certainly financial services is one of the top ones. Healthcare is another top one. I see, the funnel and the opportunities we get in those spaces a lot. I've seen automobile dealerships, traders in the stock market space. I've seen that as well. So, it really runs the gambit of many, many different industries. And so basically anywhere where you've got a situation where you got to have lots and lots of employees that are dispersed in many locations, but you can even run SD-WAN on a single site too. And we don't have an offering for that today, but we plan to have one soon, and that'll be another addition to our portfolio. These obviously have an option. They can create their own branded offering and rebill it and sell it to an end user, which often they do, or they could go to a carrier managed service like ours, where we provide everything. The partner doesn't have to do that, and you simply sell it, and we pay a residual commission, which is effectively, what I call assetless gross margins, so that you don't have to get involved in the daily management. And if I were an MSP, I'd be doing both. I might create my own SD-WAN offering that I rebill under my brand name, and in situations that warrant it, I would sell somebody else's, like Comcast Businesses, and earn a commission for that. And then I'd have a portfolio of different offerings for different types of customers. And we use a company here in Denver called Pax8, which a lot of MSPs work through around the nation and in other countries now. And they're selling our services too as part of an agent model, but they're rebilling other ones. So any MSP can access this model through them or other, what we call master agents.
I've heard that security management is different for SD-WANs versus other things, right? And security is kind of a big ticket item right now with some of the larger, hacks that we've seen out there in the world.
SD-WAN, and typically if they want firewall, then they'll get that with unified threat management. So our standard SD-WAN includes what's called a stateful firewall, and that monitors the full state of all the active connections.
Well, we're at that stage in the interview where I ask if you only had one piece of advice to get people started down this road to really grasping the opportunity with SD-WANs, what would that be?
Well, be versatile, because, in the new world order, everything can be virtualized. And we've seen that obviously with, the Apple store and what you can get on any kind of app anywhere. And so, with that in mind, everything, has changed to now as a service. And it eliminates the past world I grew up in, 35 years of bars and that whole world of boxes and physical hardware. It eliminates the tyranny of the boxes. And no longer does the customer have to be wedded to specific boxes, but they instead can have everything virtualized via software. And this is what this technology allows you to do. And from that, you can scale infinitely. And so you, as a partner, could approach a customer of gigantic size or a small one and anything in between because of this offering. And I see it all the time. I'm working on deals with partners that are $1 million a month opportunities all the way down to $500 a month. And that's from the smallest to the largest partners. So, any partner now can act and be versatile. I think it's just, open up your imagination of the kind of opportunities you can embrace now, because without all that physical hardware and the world of the past, you can sell almost anything. And you can use companies the size of Comcast or other competitors of ours, or you can build it on your own paper and do everything in between. I think it's a fascinating time, and it'll be very, very fruitful over the coming years.